going on, you guys? It's your huggable hipster here, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be diving into why we get emotional when cats and dogs and animals in general die in video games. You could technically call this a psychologically gaming for today, but this is overall a discussion piece, and I want everyone to chime in on this topic, because the thing is that I've seen so many different articles come out recently about why we get attached to basically just pixels in a video game. Also, I made a brand new coffee for the experience that we're about to go on. Yes, I'm calling this video an experience because I expect everyone to have varying opinions on how animals are seen in video games, and I'm so excited to see the discussion down in the comments below. Just keep in mind, please, keep it respectful, keep it peaceful, although I know it's not going to end up that way. Keep it respectful and keep it peaceful as much as you can. Also, all hail the caramel coffee. So why do we get attached to animals in general in video games? Why do we get so upset and sad and borderline personally hurt and affected whenever they get killed off? Now, this isn't true for a lot of animals in video games. Some of them, like in Dark Souls, they're just a nuisance and we take care of them because they're just a part of basically the environmental NPCs that will regardless attack you if you come too close. So with that, there's more of an emotional exception because we don't get attached to those kinds of creatures that are basically just in our way, and we need to get rid of them to progress in order to progress with the game's storyline or arc or whatever it may be. But when it comes to developing a relationship, a mental and emotional relationship with animals in video games, it's a lot more difficult. So for the purpose of today's discussion, I'm going to be referencing 3 examples: Red Dead Redemption 2, The Last of Us Part 2, and The Devil in Me. While these are very, very different games, they all hold something very unique, and it's different emotional bonds throughout the game. Well, The Devil in Me, not so much throughout the game, more towards the end of the game. They hold different emotional bonds with the player. So let's go into The Devil in Me first, because I feel like this is the most relevant since this is the game that I most recently played. And it holds more of a not as great of an emotional attachment, but there is still an emotional attachment there, because when we look at a dog, we think, oh, cute dog. We don't think the dog is going to hurt us, but there are some cases in which a dog can very much hurt you in real life and can almost kill you or disfigure you. Not to say that all dogs are like this, but depending on the owner, it also depends on the pup. It very much just depends on how the dog is trained, and the same goes for a cat or any animal that an owner might own. So I'm just gonna say it right now. I know it's gonna be a little bit of a spoiler, but not this week's episode, but next week's episode is the finale of The Devil in Me, and yes, I killed the dog, okay, sue me. It was actually a complete accident, not gonna lie, because I thought that countdown line, you know in like the Dark Picture games, whenever you have a line, it like chooses an action for you if you don't choose an action fast enough. In every single Dark Pictures game that I've played, besides The Devil in Me, the action was either, oh, the character gets killed, or something close to the character gets killed, or a negative action might happen. I found out after I did the playthrough that the dog could actually survive if you let that timer line run out. No clue. Had no clue. So yes, I killed the dog, not because I wanted to, just because I thought if the timer ran out, then Mr. Dumet would kill him himself. I know people are probably going to give me shit for that in my comment section in this one and in the finale of the video, but it is what it is. And this is where I have, I think, my biggest issue when it comes to over-attachment with certain characters or animals in particular for the purposes of this video. This is the biggest issue that I have with it, because we're getting attached to pixels on a screen. We're getting emotionally attached to what our ideas and concepts are of what an animal is that we are possibly attached to in real life. We place our own pet's image onto the image of that animal that we are seeing. So we place how we think of our dog, how we think of our cat, how we think of our horse, how we think of, whatever animal it is that we own. We place that level of emotion that we have with our own pets onto the animals that we encounter in the games. Why do you think we like petting the cat and the dog so much in a video game? It's because we place that same emotional energy in a game that we do in real life. So it's no wonder that every single time I see a cute dog or a cute kitten in a video game, all I want to do is go up and pet it and hug it. And see, this is where the debate will come in when it comes to the game The Devil in Me. What would you do if you were actually in that circumstance of where it were either you or the dog. I don't want you guys to be heroes down in the comments section. I want you guys to be realistic with me now. The other example that we can go for is The Last of Us Part 2. How much we got attached to Abby, I believe it was the dog's name. Man, if I remember that correctly, that dog must have left an imprint on me. But you know, it shows us how emotionally attached we can get to a dog that is from a side that is supposed to be our enemy. So when it comes to Last of Us Part 2 and we have to kill the dog, a huge impression on a player, because that's by the time you're already getting to know Abby, you're getting to know her team, you're getting to know everyone on her side, and the game kind of pits you against like each person, and it's like, what do we do? Like, this dog is coming at us, and are we supposed to kill the dog? And the game doesn't even give you a choice. You know, it's just a part of the cutscene of where, you know, you just have to kill the dog. This could also be said too for the emotional attachment that we get from the horse in Red Dead Redemption 2. I cannot tell you how much I bawled my eyes out whenever that horse died. Like that. My goodness gracious. Little Nene, rest in peace. And yes, that is what I named my horse. Little Nene, creating the best beats since '92. When it comes to Red Dead Redemption, though, it's even more of a precarious situation because you develop over the entire course of the game, depending how long you're playing the game for, you are developing such an emotional bond with that creature. And it sucks whenever the horse dies because you realize that there's nothing you could have done to save it. It doesn't give you a choice. It doesn't give you any say in the matter at all whatsoever. It just is what it is, and that's the fact of life. And this is where the psychology comes into play, of where when we see an animal, we by default think, oh, animal, precious, I just want to hold it. I want to take care of it. I want to love this little helpless creature, because that is the nurturing part of our brain and of our entire being coming out of wanting to be able to take care of something. Very seldom do you see someone who does not give a flying F about any of the creatures or animals, whatever they are, in a game, and has no problem killing them, no remorse whatsoever. It's really fascinating to me because I have maybe come across one or two people in my entire life of playing video games that does not care about their emotional attachment or bond with an animal in a video game. The balance and the equilibrium that we kind of have to keep when we're going into a game that we know that the animal might die. None of these game characters can come up and have a cup of coffee with us or shake our hand. Nathan Drake won't be able to go on wild adventures with us. You know, Lara Croft won't be able to, you know, shake her triangle titties in our face. Like, none of that is ever going to happen because these are characters that are made in the minds of incredibly talented, creative individuals. They seem real to us because we've developed such an emotional connection and sense of kindred and like a simpatico, almost like a little bit of like, oh, I see myself in that character, or I feel like it's a kindred spirit to an extent, and that's a powerful thing to be able to do. That is a very powerful emotional capability that we as humans are able to do, to be able to place all that emotion, all of that being able to think of a game character as a real human being, or that dog in The Last of Us Part 2 is a real dog. Like, there are so many different things that we as human beings are capable of. I'm not one to talk, though. I get very emotional about certain animals in video games, like you guys saw with Ori and the Blind Forest and the Will of the Wisps. That creature is non-existent. There, nowhere in the world does that creature exist. Yet I got emotional. Same thing could be said for the horse in Red Dead Redemption 2. Same thing is said for the dog and the devil in me. The same thing is said for the dog in The Last of Us Part 2, or any dog to ever exist in the history of ever. We get so emotional about, you know, cute little pixelated things because, you know, we place emotions from in real life onto a game. So when in reality, you know, like I said, a video game, you can always go back and restart and save the animal. Real life, not so much. And the thing is that we beat ourselves up for it. If we accidentally kill the dog in a game, we get so upset. I know I was so upset at myself for killing the dog and the devil in me. Holy crap, I was so mad at myself. I was like, was I supposed to do that? I don't think I was supposed to do that. And I had no idea that you could actually save the dog. I'm still beating myself up for it, actually. I'm not gonna lie. But that's how heavy the emotional attachment gets, and that's how fascinating the human brain is, because we place that emotional connection that we have in real life onto a game. Think about how just insanely interesting that is, that we place our emotional bonds that we have with animals in real life onto a game because we're like, oh yeah, that looks like something I love in real life, so I'm gonna love that thing too. But yeah, that's all I have to say on this topic. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys got something out of it. If you guys like my face and what I do, please be sure to subscribe and hit that bell down below. I make videos every day here on YouTube. May you find your worth in the waking world, your hunter. Stay casually nerdy, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye, you guys.